Hello, world, and good local time. Welcome to Upstream 2022 and Maintainer Month. The big idea behind Maintainer Month is to give all of us a dedicated time every year to center open source maintainers, celebrate them, and confront the difficult realities that face them and the communities that they lead. Then make meaningful progress on addressing those issues year over year. Well, I'm thrilled to have worked with my friend Kara at GitHub to start this last year in the form of Maintainer Week. The most exciting thing is that Maintainer Month is bigger than either of us or any one of the events that are being held this month. We've invited the community, you, to take ownership of Maintainer Month and run your own maintainer-related events and programming. You can find out more about what's going on this month by going to maintainermonth.github.com. That's a repository we have all been adding our events to, and there's still time to add your event if you're keen. Consider also, mark your calendar for the next Maintainer Month in June of 2023. Now, to the reason that you're here with me today. You're tuned in to Upstream 2022, and that's at least partially my fault. My name is Josh Simmons, one of your hosts today, and program chair of the event, which means I took the lead on editorial work, like setting the theme and selecting speakers. By day, I'm ecosystem strategy lead at Tidelift, a company that works directly with maintainers, paying them to ensure projects meet enterprise-level security, maintenance, and licensing standards. I came to Tidelift after transiting through O'Reilly Media, as well as the Google and Salesforce open source programs offices. By night, I wear any number of volunteer hats, and am proud to have recently wrapped up a transformative 6-year term on the Open Source Initiative Board of Directors. Look, all of that is to say, Upstream is a highly opinionated event. We are gathered here with a shared appreciation of open source, and it is my aim that we leave today with a shared understanding and a shared vision too. A vision of an open source ecosystem that is inclusive, robust, built on trust, and in which no open source project falls into neglect because a maintainer isn't supported. A vision in which every player in the ecosystem, all of us, can thrive. Now, last year, we gathered around a similar vision, and I implored us to advance the state of the ecosystem together so that this year we could have different conversations. Well, I'm pleased to say I think we've made some progress. Since Upstream 2021, both the risks and the solutions have come into sharper focus, as have the relevant measures of health. More attention is being placed on ecosystem and project health than ever before, and the resources are beginning to flow to some of those who need it. But many projects remain under-resourced. It's clear that they need more than money. And solving these problems upstream means investing not just in the technology, but in the people and communities. That is why the theme for this year's Upstream, which will be familiar to my fellow philosophy geeks, what do we owe each other? This is a question posed by Scanlon and explored with a delightful depth and flair in the TV series The Good Place, in a vein of philosophy called contractualism. Now, despite the name, it's not about our legal obligations to one another. Indeed, it explores the idea of what rational actors might reasonably owe each other in order to serve our mutual interests in the common good. I believe this theme is apt for the moment we find ourselves in, because a key feature of open source is that while it enables permissionless collaboration, the licenses deal more in rights than in responsibilities. Whether you're a national government, multinational corporation, or a startup, you have no legal obligation to give back to open source communities. Now, that said, if the status quo for organizations is to have an extractive relationship with open source, rather than a mutually beneficial one, then our interests as downstream users are undermined. An under-resourced project is more likely to be unhealthy, unreliable, insecure, and ultimately abandoned. So what do we owe to each other? Why? And how do we go about aligning the stars and driving the systemic change necessary so that we can all thrive? These are things we will explore today. We will endeavor to think more deeply about open source, to have difficult conversations, get aligned, and address root causes once and for all. Now, before I introduce our keynote speakers, I would like to share some housekeeping notes and offer a heap of gratitude. Now, first, of course, we wish we were with you in person, again, just like last year, but we are thrilled you're able to join us at all. We've seen how other folks are organizing online conferences. We experimented a little last year with the first Upstream, and we've tried to pick and choose what we think works. Of course, all of these conferences are a bit experimental, and Upstream is no different. We hope you'll let us know how the format works for you. About that format, every session has been pre-recorded and is streamed live with the speakers and panelists alongside you in the live chat. That means you can ask questions of speakers and fellow audience members at any point during the presentation, which we definitely encourage. Now, it's a little different from standing in the hallway outside your favorite conference's expo hall, but we do have a kind of hallway track. It's a combination of text chat with fellow participants and an all-day live video stream featuring your event hosts, moderators, and special guests, including members of the audience. There, we'll be exploring reactions to the day's sessions, idly bantering, and helping to direct attention to each new set of sessions as they start. You can also connect with fellow participants by tweeting with the hashtag UpstreamOSS and hashtag Maintainer Month. I know as a frequent speaker myself, I always appreciate finishing my talk, then thumbing through Twitter to see what resonated with people. And admittedly, as someone who is extremely online, I often discover talks I want to watch when other people tweet about them. And all of these sessions are available for viewing online after the fact, in case you pique your colleagues and friends' curiosity. My point is, sharing is caring, and make sure you use those hashtags when you do. Okay, so look, right about now, I can usually sense a restlessness in the audience. Now, this is recorded video, so I can't sense this, but I've got a feeling that your mind might be wandering at this point. Mine would be. Please, stay with me because I need your help for this part of the welcome. I need your participation in chats. Please join me in making the text chat equivalent of a rolling round of applause. First of all, Upstream 2022 has been a huge team effort, and we have people to thank. First and foremost, the team. Thank you to the Mana Team Wrangler herself, Amy Hayes, and the rest of the crew, Lynn, Christina, Margot, Lewis, and so many more. Thank you also to our supporters, JFrog, Read the Docs, Dev.to, Ethical Ads, AWS, MaxiTech, and the Python Software Foundation. We are endlessly grateful to all of them for making Upstream 2022 possible. And a huge round of virtual applause for all 43 of our speakers, moderators, and panelists, without whose time, experience, wisdom, and generosity, we would simply not be here today. We're also grateful to White Coat Captioning, who is helping us make Upstream a more accessible experience by providing, you guessed it, captioning. Last and certainly not least, thank you, the participants. You are the reason we are here. Your participation today and the journey you choose to set out on tomorrow is what will make this matter. Because with any luck, when we meet again next year, we will have again advanced the cause and be solving problems on another level in pursuit of our shared vision. Okay. With that, I would like to send you off on today's expedition. Starting off, we'll hear from Donald Fisher, CEO and co-founder of Tidelift, who will ground us in upstream thinking and how it relates to improving open source health and security. Then we'll hear from Deborah Bryant, most recently Senior Director for Red Hat's Open Source Programs Office, on Zen and the art of contributor maintenance, which poses the question, what have you done for contributors lately? After that, we'll have a number of fantastic sessions and panels, followed by an afternoon keynote by John Mark Walker, Director of Fannie Mae's Open Source Programs Office, on what's in it for me, the enlightened self-interest of open source contributions. Following that, we'll have more sessions and panels, and then we will wrap with Ava Black, an open source hacker at Microsoft, who will close us out with the keynote on trust, visible and invisible, open source supply chains, and you. Okay, are you ready? I'm your host, Josh Simmons, and I am so glad you're here. Let's go upstream.